Okay, so in trying to talk about this, I want to take us back to the 90s. Okay, so time to briefly visit the 90s aboard Hannah's time machine. Okay, we can return to the present time now. Ready? All aboard Hannah's and I was going to say answering machine. Time machine. No, 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 no.
Okay, so I may have programmed the time machine to bring us to my apartment instead of my favorite airport in the world, the Long Beach Airport. So I was feeling hungry, okay? And besides, the sun was setting at the time. Yeah.
Have you ever met a woman, a cisgender woman, who's sexy, attractive, confident, undoubtedly female, who has no doubts about her own femininity, but at a closer look, her face could easily pass as a man? Okay, maybe she's feeling self-confident because she, as a cisgender woman, she has had a chance to grow up, through her childhood as a female person, and has had positive affirmations from society, her being a female person. So, yeah, okay, but how is she able to appear as a sexy, attractive woman to us? Right? Right. How is she even pulling that off? Right? Right.
Notebook. Oh, a piece of paper where I had written some notes. Okay, I'll be right back. Me. Me. Made in USA. Good stuff, good stuff. It's important. My notes from the other day. Let's see if Hannah can read her own writing. Yeah, seriously, right? Let's see. Okay, I'll be right back. I may have to clean up these notes a little bit and rearrange a few items, and I'll be right back. Where is my pencil? Pencil! Okay, got my pencil, and I've cleaned up the notes a little bit. Yeah, now it makes so much more sense.
Okay, so where were we? Ah, yes, we were talking about the sexy, attractive woman whose facial features could easily pass as a man, and yet she's appearing as undoubtedly a woman. Yeah, and how is she able to pull that off, right? Right. So here's the thing. I kind of, through my transitioning experience, I noticed a few things that I wasn't aware of before, in terms of like what's needed to actually appear as a woman. Yep, those of you, who are feeling like a fake, in female attire, especially during the early days of transitioning, this information, you might find this information helpful to you. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd be curious to know. Yep. I listed three general categories. That's that's needed in order to appear as a woman. Yep, the first thing on the list is,
well, not in any particular order, but the first thing on the list, because I had written it that way here.
voice. Voice branches off into two subcategories. So when it comes to voice, the first subcategory is pitch and amplitude. So whether we're talking in a high pitch, like "Hello, how are you?" or whether we're talking in a low pitch, like right now. And then there's the amplitude thing, like whether we're talking amplitude meaning loudness, right? Whether we're talking really, really loud or really, really soft. That's a part of like the female vocal system thing, right? Right. Okay, so it's a little bit different from a male's vocal system thing. With males, it's even if the person can produce like a really wide range of pitch, when conducting himself as a man, the person may limit himself to like lower ranges of the voice. I guess it's more of a societally accepted, thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with using a higher pitch or talking in an alto, as a man. But yeah, it's also the hormones and stuff. When I was a guy, even if I tried to talk in higher pitch voice, there's a certain part of me inside would become all queasy. Like it pulls me right back into a lower range. It's just really, really difficult to even try that. So yeah, it's like an autopilot thing, right? It's like set for lower range and that's it. So with the HRT, I found it to become a lot easier, and that resistance kind of eventually switches off, and now I can talk in any pitch, in the range that I'm capable of producing. Yep. Yeah, and as a woman, the range of pitch is a lot wider, and there's no restriction in terms of society's affirmations or whatever. It's we can talk any pitch we want, basically. Okay, so the next on the voice list is the subcategory for the voice thingy is voice tense. So in tense, it's about shaping the perception, right? Shaping the perception, how we are perceived by the other person. So we can appear like we can talk in a friendly stance, friendly tone. We can talk in a professional sense, in professional scenarios.
That doesn't necessarily mean like, I've met some, who think professional is like being all strict and rigid. It's not necessarily that. Professional has to do with saying, like, limited to saying what's needed, basically, and it's like performing essential communications, right? So that can come in critical in scenarios such as like when operating heavy machineries or performing delicate operations, like for example doctors performing in an OR, performing surgery on a patient. There's going to be like keywords, right? They're going to be using to communicate with each other in the room, like among the doctors and the nurses in the room. Keywords so that they could work together and get things done. So that kind of thing. So it's more focused on using specialized, specific keywords and stuff. Yeah, flying a plane, right? That's another example. Communicating pilots, between pilots and air traffic controllers. That's another example of a professional communication. Yep.
Yeah, okay. How about talking to like our loved ones? We may not be appropriate to use professional communication with our loved ones unless we're practicing professional scenarios or we're playing professional with each other. Yeah, it's going to be a lot casual, and it's going to involve like some like fuzzy gestures and all kinds of little like whining and stuff, maybe. So that could be with like talking to loved ones. Okay, how about talking to peers? Well, depends on the environment, right? If it's in a professional environment, then probably more appropriate to talk to our peers in a professional manner. If it's in a casual environment, like friends, having dinner on a Friday, then yeah, it's just a friendly level-to-level communication. Yep, casual communication, which may involve jokes and laughters and silliness and stuff like that. Yep, our voices can paint like it can play a significant role in painting a certain picture of a person. So imagine, I'm talking in like slangs, and would you still see me the same way, right? So yeah, okay, so that's vocal stance. Okay, so the next on the list is physical. I kind of combined the top two, and so it only has like two sub-branches. The first sub-branch is stance and posture. So stance and posture. Okay, stance is more social, just like the voice stance. Physical stance is also important when we're communicating with someone. Posture, it's always a good idea to stay in like a posh posture, like chin up, head kind of upright, shoulders back, and that kind of thing. No matter how we're feeling, even if we're not feeling well, we still want to try to maintain that proper posture. Yep, posture. Yep, that can play a major role in appearing as a woman, especially as a woman. Yep. For example, imagine I sit slouched like this. So I'm going to talk about the imposter syndrome and stuff. And how do you like that? I mean, it's like difference, right? So shoulders back, neck straight, chin up or chin straight, hip. Big difference, right? In appearance, right? Okay. Gesture. Gesture is in the beginning it might be a little difficult because the hormones, right? The muscle fat distribution, the hormones, everything's in, like for male to female transgender, everything's in guy configuration. And as a guy, we may want to like appear big and strong. Well, at least in my case, that's how I was. As a guy, I like to appear big and strong.
And when I see another guy, I like to gauge him, like how can I kick his ass, right? So that kind of thing. It just maybe that's just me, maybe I'm a I used to be an alpha, guy type, so that's how I looked at guys, just like, how can I kick his ass? Yeah. So maybe, the other guys could be doing similar things too towards me as well. So, yeah.
Gesture. All right. Gesture, as a woman, we want to appear, we don't have to appear big and strong. So we can keep our arms like not spread out like that, but we can keep our arms close to our bodies. In the beginning, it might be a little bit tough for us because the hormones are wiring, maybe telling us to spread our arms, and our legs. But trying to practice keeping the arms close to the body and kind of the legs kind of close to each other when sitting and stuff can help the body gestures to kind of naturally like fall into place once the hormones kick in and once the body fat distribution happens, right? So yeah, with gesture, also walking, as a guy I used to walk differently.
I used to walk like a Terminator, like
And then as a woman, I practice walking like a little more like the legs a little bit closer or whatever, but at the same time when the body fat and muscle distribution changed, I found myself walking as a woman, like a girly, not just because I wanted to walk girly, but because that's just the way my body changed. I mean, the muscles and the fat and stuff. There's a certain sway, in the legs now, and also there's this certain like springiness, and stuff, and it's just natural for me to do those things now.
For example, if I were reaching something, from the top shelf or something before, I may have reached things like this, but now I may have just gone like, see, the muscle fat distribution has changed and it just naturally went that way. So it's those kind of things.
Muscle body fat distribution, can help significantly with gestures, but during the early days, it's a good idea to just practice, keeping the arms closed and the legs closed and stuff like that. Yep. Okay, the third on the list is grooming. As a guy, sometimes in the mornings, I could just wake up and change into my jeans and in my t-shirt and just hair all messy and just walk over to my car and do whatever, right? But as a woman, well, I could still do that, but it's like I prefer to kind of do certain things like my hair and maybe a little bit of an eyeshadow, maybe a little touch up on the lips, and yeah, and so I appear like nice, yep, and that's grooming. Similarly with hair, right now I have Miss Wiggers here,
but my actual hair is growing real nicely. It has actually reached the forehead length, and I'm still waiting a little bit for a little additional volume, and then I'm planning to go and get a nice haircut. Yep, at a nice professional haircut place. Yeah, it'll probably be very similar to Miss Wiggers. At least that's what I'm planning at this time.
So grooming's real important. Similarly with like outfits, right? As a woman, I'm finding that certain clothing, like in my case, everybody's different, you know, depending on face cuts, whatever. In my case, certain clothing, like a U-necked t-shirt, can cause the appearance to appear more masculine, while a V-neck or an open neck can help with appearing more feminine. So here I'm wearing a t-shirt with a V-neck or a more like a wider neck, and a sweater. If I were to wear a sweater with a tiny little hole, you know, like that, then I may appear more masculine. And also the cut. If I'm planning to wear a sweater like this, where the cut, you know, for the sleeves is down here, then I want to wear something with a wide neck area. Yep. If I want to wear a sweater that's really close to the neck, tight near the neck area, I want to wear something with the sleeve cut over here, like going this way, right? This way. And that could help bring the focus, you know, of the shoulders back in, and help the appearance to remain feminine, not kind of pull away into the masculine range. Right. Also, as a woman, I have a lot more flexibility in terms of wearing things like this. For example, my casual bra here has only one strap, you know, going around the neck, and it's kind of showing. And in casual settings, this showing, and the t-shirt showing, and the t-shirt or the blouse, you know, the blouse showing, and the sweater showing, and all this showing is kind of like fashiony. It's kind of cute in a sense. So that can help my appearance to remain in the feminine range. Yep. What else? I'm also wearing a skirt. I like skirts, so that can also help with my appearance. Right. Again, you know, all the layers exposed. This from the 90s, by the way. I love, you know, exposing layers.
Oh, except maybe for the panties layer.
This can easily appear as a woman, even if I were talking in a really, really low voice and stuff. So that can really help in terms of appearing as a woman. Yep. Also, like, see what I just did? I sat down and I put my legs up, like, and my arms kind of relaxed like that, and my neck, you know, kind of the way I'm looking, right? Feminine. Yep.
Instead of going down like a guy, like, I am guy.
So those kind of things, just loosen up and just yep. So that's appearance, and those factors, when applied in a certain way, can really help in appearing as a woman to the other person. Right. That's basically very likely a part of how the sexy cisgender woman, whose facial features could easily pass as a man, can appear as a woman. Yep. So okay, one last thing I want to mention in this video before I wrap up here is social perceptions. Social perceptions is something that a beginning transgender would have to work on almost like homework, right? To work on to clear up any preconceptions, like incorrect perceptions, like ungrounded perceptions about things. Yep, things including like assumptions that to be able to sound as a woman, the voice must speak in a higher pitch voice. The other thing is, well, from my own personal experience, through the first at least a few months of my gender transitioning journey, I was finding it really hard to talk in a higher pitch voice. I didn't want to appear as making fun of women by just like acting as if though, okay, I'm transitioning, so now I'm going to talk in a high pitched voice. You know, I didn't want to seem that way, although I knew that I'd have to at least talk in some kind of a range that's close to a higher pitch in order for my vocals to kind of adjust while the hormones were kicking in. So I had to do pep talks, you know, to myself, and I had to tell myself, hey, I'm transitioning, I'm a woman, I can talk in any pitch I want to talk in, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing about talking in a higher pitch as a transgender woman that may appear disrespectful to women because I'm a woman, right? So yeah, those kind of things. Similarly with body gestures and stuff, there are things that we may have been programmed in our minds, especially for those of us, you know, late transitioners. We may have been programmed to stay in manly poses and stuff, and if we try to act effeminate, well, the only scenarios when we try to act effeminate is when we were playing jokes and stuff. So we need to get that out of the system. Like we can be effeminate because we're transitioning. It's natural for us to act effeminate, right? So yeah, those kind of guy, you know, thinkings, you know, that had kind of formed in there, we may have to get rid of all that and just give ourselves a fresh start when it comes to like gestures and stances and postures and stuff like that. Yep, whether they be voice, physical, and or grooming. Yep. Laters. Hello, girlfriends. How are you?